Good morning, students. Today, let's begin with a new topic, that is Chapter 18, Body Fluids and Circulation. As you all know, all living organisms contain cells, and these cells require nutrients and oxygen to produce energy. The cells also produce waste materials, and I think you know which are the major waste materials which are produced by the cells. The major waste materials are urea, uric acid, and carbon dioxide. Hence, there should be a continuous supply of nutrients to the cells as well as removal of waste materials from the cells. And this supply is carried out in simple organisms like sponges by allowing the water to flow through their body cavities. We have already studied this when we discussed about phylum Porifera, that is the lowest phylum, where we find simple organisms which exhibit cellular grade of organization. So these sponges, they have a body cavity which is known as spongocoel. And the water enters these spongocoel through small minute pores called as the ostia, and it will go out through a large opening called as the osculum. I hope you remember all these. And during the circulation of water, the nutrients and oxygen will be supplied to the cells as well as the waste materials which are produced by the cells will be removed. So this is what happens in simple organisms. But in the case of complex organisms like human beings, it is carried out by a special medium which is called as the body fluids. And these body fluids, they circulate these substances throughout the body. That is, they supply the nutrients and gases, and they remove the waste materials also. So now, do you know which are the body fluids found in human beings? Three major body fluids found in human beings are the blood, the interstitial fluids, and the lymph. Of these, we have already discussed about the blood and the lymph. You know that they are the fluid connective tissues. Then what about interstitial fluid? Interstitial fluid is the fluid which is found between the cells. And it is this fluid which helps the cells to live. Now, in this chapter, let's discuss about blood. Blood is the common body fluid which circulate the nutrients and remove the waste materials. So, in general, we can say some of the functions of these body fluids are: the first and the foremost, distribution of oxygen and nutrients to all parts of the body. The second major function is collection and elimination of waste materials. And the third function, distribution of hormones. Now, let's study in detail about blood. As you all know, blood is a liquid or a fluid connective tissue that consists of 55% liquid plasma and 45% formed elements called blood cells. So 55% of blood is liquid, and that is the plasma, and remaining 45% is the formed elements. Now, the formed elements are, there are three major formed elements. The formed elements include erythrocytes or the red blood cells, leukocytes or white blood cells, and platelets, also called as thrombocytes. Now let us study about each of these components in detail. So first let's discuss about plasma. Plasma, as you all know, it's the fluid part or the liquid component of the blood. And it is a straw colored viscous fluid or a viscous liquid which is little thick. It contains about 90 to 95% of water, 6 to 8% proteins, about 1.2% nutrients and gases, and 0.8% inorganic salts. The major proteins found in plasma are fibrinogen, globulins, and albumins. Of these, albumins, each of these proteins have a certain function or a specific function. First, let's see albumins. Albumins maintain osmotic balance by transporting minerals in and out of the blood. Whereas globulins, they help in body's defense mechanism. And fibrinogen, they are crucial for the clotting of blood. So you have to remember the three types of proteins found in plasma and their functions. Now let's see the formed elements. The formed elements are, as we have already seen, before that, the nutrients which are found in plasma are the glucose, amino acids and fats. And the gases which are found in plasma include oxygen and carbon dioxide. In addition to that, there will be traces of inorganic salts like sodium, calcium, magnesium and bicarbonate. The remaining 45% of the blood is made up of formed elements. Now, which are the formed elements? First one, erythrocytes. Second one, leukocytes. And the third one, platelets. Let's discuss about erythrocytes or the red blood cells in detail. About 99% of the blood cells are erythrocytes. In adults, they are formed in the bone marrow, and a cubic millimeter of blood contains about 5 to 5.5 million RBCs. So these RBCs are the most abundant of all the blood cells. They are produced in the bone marrow and their shape is biconcave, and they lack a nucleus in their mature state. So the younger state of RBCs called as a erythroblast, they have a nucleus, but once they become mature, the nucleus disappears. They lack nucleus. So mature RBCs lack nucleus. Then they are red in color. You know what is the reason why blood is red in color? It is because of the presence of a respiratory pigment, iron containing protein called as the hemoglobin. And in 100 ml of blood, we find about 12 to 16 gram of hemoglobin. And the main function of hemoglobin is to transport the respiratory gases, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide. That is the reason why hemoglobin is called as the respiratory pigment. Then, the average lifespan of an RBC is about 120 days. After 120 days, they will be destroyed in the spleen. The spleen is called as the graveyard of RBCs. A low RBC count in human beings can cause anemia. Now let's discuss about leukocytes. Leukocytes are also known as WBCs or the white blood cells. Now why are they called as white blood cells? Because they lack the respiratory pigment or the red pigment called as hemoglobin. And because of this deficiency of hemoglobin or lack of hemoglobin, these cells are colorless. And these cells are nucleated, means they have a nucleus. And they are found, just 6,000 to 8,000 cells are found in 100 ml of blood. So compared to erythrocytes, leukocytes are much less in number. There are two types based on the presence or absence of granules. Leukocytes are of two types, that is granulocytes and agranulocytes. The granulocytes are again divided into three types, that is basophils, neutrophils and eosinophils. Whereas agranulocytes are of two types, lymphocytes and monocytes. Now in this picture, you can see all the different types of cells. So what you find in a large number and red in color are the RBCs or the erythrocytes. And then you can see the largest cell, that is a macrophage. Then you can see the three different types of WBCs, that is granulocytes, neutrophil, basophil and eosinophil. You can also see the monocytes and lymphocytes. In between that you can see thin yellow colored structures, those are the platelets. So this picture explains to you the different components of blood. Now each of these WBCs, they have a specific function to perform. So let's see the functions of these. First let's see the function of a neutrophil. Neutrophils are about 60 to 65% of the total WBCs are neutrophils. Neutrophils along with monocytes, they are phagocytic cells. Means phagocytes are those cells which have the ability to engulf the foreign material and destroy the foreign material. So neutrophils and monocytes, they destroy the foreign substances which enter the blood. Then coming to the next, that is basophils. Basophils are about 0.5 to 1% of WBCs are basophils. The main function of basophil, they are the smallest granulocytes. Among the three types of granulocytes, basophils are the smallest. And they secrete certain substances like histamines, serotonin and heparin. And all these are involved in the inflammatory response or inflammatory reactions. The third type of granulocytes, that is the eosinophils. They are about 2 to 3% of WBCs are the eosinophils. These eosinophils, they fight against infections and are also linked to allergic reactions. The fourth type of cells, that is they are the agranulocytes, lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are mainly involved in the immune response of the body. There are two major types of lymphocytes. They are the T lymphocytes and the B lymphocytes. The T lymphocytes attack tumor cells, whereas B lymphocytes, they produce antibodies against foreign microorganisms which enter the body. And these are about 4,000 to 11,000. There will be about 4,000 to 11,000 WBCs in 1 cubic millimeter of blood. So in your textbook they have given as 4,000 to 8,000. So it may go up to 11,000 also. So that is about lymphocytes. And then monocytes, that is a fifth type of WBCs, or in fact second type of agranulocyte, the monocytes. Monocytes act as macrophages. They also have the ability to engulf the pathogen and destroy the pathogen or disease causing organism or the foreign substances which enter the body. So this is how they provide immunity or they provide defense to the body. So hope you all understood about the various types of leukocytes and their functions. Right? Now let's move on to the third type of formed elements, that is the platelets. Platelets are actually they are formed in the bone marrow, and they are formed as tiny cell fragments called thrombocytes. They are not complete cells, they are just fragments of cells, and they are produced by the fragmentation of megakaryocytes, means big cells. Then they are about 1,50,000 to 4,50,000 platelets are found in 1 cubic millimeter of blood. They circulate in the body, that is platelets circulate in the body for about 8 to 10 days, after which they will be destroyed in the liver or in the spleen. Now the main function of platelets is they help in clotting by releasing calcium and clotting factors which are present in their cytoplasmic granules. They are involved in releasing thromboplastin. It's a clotting factor which is required to initiate blood coagulation. Blood coagulation means clotting of blood. Now, the second major function of platelet is they prevent excessive loss of blood from the injured part of the body. So, later in the chapter, we will be discussing about the mechanism of blood clotting. That time, we will discuss in detail how platelets help in the process of clotting. So, that is all about blood platelets or the last formed element, that is thrombocytes. Hope you all understood. So that's all for today. Thank you.